right, in 5, 4, 3,
Cheap flights.
Cornbread.
How's it going, everyone? This is Frank Cavone, the Cheap Flights and Cornbread podcast.
How's it going? I'm Frank Cavone, and you are watching episode 39 of the Cheap Flights and Cornbread podcast live from Putnam Place, where you can watch the premiere every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and you can also listen to it on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever you prefer. And today we got a very special episode. We have Luke Dow, hell of a photographer, festival organizer, runs one of the greatest businesses in Lake George, New York, and just does so many great, your family does so many great humanitarian things for the fucking town, and it's just so cool to see, man. Like I out of anything, I love Rock the Dock. I love, like the everything else you guys do, but the fact that you guys give back, the fact that you guys even your mom gave her all.
There'd be no skate park.
Yeah, dude.
No,
it is just such an honor to have you here, man.
I really appreciate that, guys. I touched the way you guys think about me and my family. I mean, we ain't shit. Just gotta just be there for each other, man.
100%.
It's a small town.
But that radiates, and I think other people
it
see
does.
that and they want to do the same thing, and that's just super cool.
That's what one of my dad's philosophies was. There's so much terrible shit in the news, and a lot of people are just losing their mind, just constantly focused on the negative that gets pumped out. And, I asked my dad one time, I was like, man, how do you deal with all this stuff? And he goes, it's like, you don't get lost in the minutia of just shit that's happening that's out of your control. Focus on what you can control, that sphere of influence that everyone has, and just only focus all your energy on that sphere of influence. Don't be completely ignorant to the politics and the goings-ons of the world. Just focus on that sphere. Make everything and all the relationships in that sphere as best as you can possibly make it. And then, hopefully that'll ripple out.
100%, man. That's a great way to look at things. And and we're going to talk more about that. And just one of the big focuses of this podcast today is talking about Rock the Dock Music Festival 2023. Something that you guys have been doing now 4 or 5 years now, right?
Yeah, 2017, 2018, 19, and then last year, so this will be our 5th year.
That's awesome, dude. And it's going to be an incredible lineup. We have Galactic, you got Eastbound Jesus, you have Eggy, you have Chestnut Grove, you have Neon Avenue, and of course you got Hilltop. You got to have some local boys in the lineup.
Yeah.
And it's Saturday, July 8th, a whole day event, family friendly, right in the heart of Lake George Village at the Lake George Steamboat Company. And all the boats are going to be turned around, facing the stage. And we've even seen some of our friends. Shout out Gavin Gary making his way out on a fucking kayak watching the show, dude.
Amazing. I could
How's
not believe
dedication? And he does it every year. He loves
I
it.
threw him like a mozzarella stick. One of the gift shop girls had some food there, and I had a couple of drinks, so I'm like, I'm just gonna take this. And I tossed it to him, and he caught it.
Wow.
He caught it and ate it. It was impressive.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Fucking Gavin, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess what are you excited about most this year with this festival? That is different from last year for returning festival goers, because you had a lot of people show up last year.
Yeah, we did. My biggest thing is that it's moving to Saturday. What's shown me from the last few years that we've done it is that Fridays are great, but no one shows up until like 7:30 because it's all locals. They get out of work.
Yeah.
Then they get out of work. They have to go home, shower, get changed, relax for a second, and then drive from wherever they're at. And they're catching half a festival. I mean, God bless them that they are, because that way we can donate. I think last year we donated like $10,800 to the Lake George Association. This year we're changing it up because the Lake George Association gets millions of dollars every year. They get big time donations from all the rich folk around the lake. But one thing that my dad was passionate about, what he would always donate to, was the local American Legion there in town. And
Post 137?
374.
374, okay.
I can't believe I remember that. But yeah, and they don't nearly get any funding.
Okay.
So if the more people that show up, the more money we can donate to them, and that dollar will mean a heck of a lot more. They can donate to more. I think last year their scholarship fund was like $500, which is like, it can barely buy you one book at a college.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can donate more to that. They're, local veterans, getting them the help, the care they need, and just other projects in the village they do. I'm really looking forward to donating to them. Just once again, watching out for others in the village.
Yeah.
So moving to a Saturday, hope more people can make the trek up. Another thing I'm excited about is getting a band like Aggie alongside Galactic. Last year we had some great bands, but Aggie is really getting up there now.
They are, and just from working with them, I wouldn't say early on, but like 2018, 2019 was when I got to know the guys in Aggie, and you could see it right there, like how talented they were. Twiddle was, keeping an eye on them, and Twiddle actually just took them out on a West Coast tour, and people are traveling for them, and that's the cool thing, and like great thing, like how you mentioned, move to Saturday. You're gonna get that, like the jam band scene. People travel for that shit.
Yeah.
And like a band like Galactic that maybe don't play up here as often as you would think, because a lot of their focus is shifted in New Orleans. They have their own venue down there, and they have roots down there. And there's a bunch of bands that I wish could make it up here more, but this is your chance to see them. And Kanika Moore, they switch up their singers. They've been singing. She's been singing with them for like. Or is it Angelica Jelly?
Angelica, yeah.
I'm so sorry. Angelica Jelly.
Yeah.
I've seen,
she crushes.
This is now like 3 formations that I'll have seen Galactic, and it's just so cool that it's refreshing like that,
Yeah, it's just that southern, jazz, trumpet, funk, and you got New York jazz, which is kind of wild and all over the place, but man, just listening to a bit of that New Orleans style. I ain't much of a dancer, thank God for, to much of everyone's relief.
Yeah.
Remember that one episode of Elaine?
Oh my God.
In Seinfeld where she starts
dancing?
Yeah.
Of course.
It's not that bad, but it's kind of close. But man, they want me to put on my dancing feet. Like it just gets that soul in you.
Yeah.
Oof.
No, there is something about that New Orleans, that NOLA funk. That's really what it's about. There's a huge difference between listening to a band like Galactic or Lettuce, and it's that dirty funk versus that. I don't know. You just feel so happy inside. Last year was the first time I went to Jazz Fest, and I was like, the culture to me was better than the music, and the lines of musicians that would parade through, and just it's really cool. And but that, that's one aspect of the festival, right? So what else do you have? Eastbound Jesus, easily one of the biggest cult followings in this area, a band that people know every lyric to their songs, and I've literally laughed out loud, like in awe, like holy shit, I've never seen anything like this, and it was really captivating. And man, I'm just so happy to see them on the lineup. And then Hilltop, they're on their first full length winter tour. Spring tour, what fucking season am I in right now? But they're playing Vermont, they're playing Connecticut, they're playing all over the Northeast.
Awesome. So
it's really just like a well-rounded festival, and it's different from last year. Last year we had the Twiddle guys.
They saved our ass,
Chestnut
man.
Grove is returning, and this is their last year playing. So man, to see a full set of them again.
Chestnut Grove's last year?
They're taking a hiatus, unfortunately. Yeah.
What?
They're taking a hiatus. It sucks. But I think it's because, not like they're done.
See,
but
I thought that was Twiddle that was going to take the hiatus. I thought
Twiddle.
Chestnut Grove was on their way up and up, doing big things.
I think they're doing it for the sake of longevity. You know, like they started touring in 2011 and never stopped. So I think for them it's like kind of like how Dopapod did it. Like Dopapod stopped for a year and then like it just like helped the band. It's like Tommy John surgery, you know, like you want that shit, you know. Like,
absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Exactly, and all those guys are active musicians anyways, but seeing them kind of like find success in this area throughout the years with the help of Wildly Dramatic is really cool. What are some great things about the festival that people might not know about on the surface? You know, like behind the scenes, you got a great staff. To pull that shit off is amazing.
Yeah. No, I mean, biggest shout out to Roger Sharp and the guys at High Peaks Production. I mean, you talk about busting their ass, the epitome of professionalism and just ease to work with. It's insane.
Yep.
They come in, they set up, the evening before, do the majority of it. The next day, they, put up the speakers and lights and whatnot, get everything loaded in. But the biggest thing is, I mean, we only have, after the stages, we only have about an hour and a half, 2 hours to turn this pier into a music festival. And then at night, we have to take everything down to make sure that it's turned back into a pier the next day to service all the cruises. So, I mean, I'm there until, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning cleaning up. And they are right there too, and they leave a little before I do. They always kind of get out of there around 3:30 in the morning, but they got to drive back down to Saratoga, unload all this, and then a lot of times the next day get up and get going early the next morning. I mean, Roger Sharp and his wife Christine, I can't thank them enough, because without them we wouldn't be able to do this.
Yeah, I mean, Roger really, and like from a production person's perspective, to me, Roger is the gold standard. Roger is if you want to know how to do something the right way, you look at what that guy does, and you could just see a track record of how he got to where he was, because he takes care of the people. He helps out the smaller bands. Not every like he plays the field with these guys and gives everybody the proper treatment they need, and they bring in. Staffing, a lot of staffing. I mean, they have a big crew, so they're paying a lot of individuals to be able to do what they do. And I mean, I feel like that to me is like what success is taking it to the next level and being able to like give up that ego in your head to allow for others to do what.
No ego with Roger Sharp.
Yeah, zero.
And I mean, he might not be the cheapest sound production guy out there.
Yeah.
But far and above the best, the most respectful, the easiest to work with, the most professional. If he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. Mm-hmm. Never cuts any corners. You absolutely 110% get what you pay for. And, he's worth it every step of the way.
Yeah.
So we couldn't do this without him.
100%. Now, as far as like Steamboat Company, where did the idea come from to place the stage where it was and have the formation of the boats? We'll have a picture displaying but showing like all like focused in one area. Like was that in the concept when you first thought of Rock the Dock, or that just come as you saw what you need to do after like the first event to like modify?
The initial concept was all my dad's for decades.
Wow. Okay.
He always talked about getting Willie Nelson to come play on the pier and then use the boats surrounding the pier as grandstands. And then when our 200th anniversary came up in 2017 and we wanted to whole summer of, celebrations and whatnot, and I said, Dad, let's do this. And then I was like, just curious, like how much would Willie Nelson? And I think I talked to Dave Eamon, and I looked up online, and Willie wants like $100,000 and 3 pounds of weed. And I'm like, man, I got friends in Colorado that grow weed, but there's no way they could get me 3 pounds, and there's no way we can do, $100,000. I mean, it'd be there's no way.
Yeah, no way.
So I said, Dad, we're going to do your idea, but you're going to have to, we're not going to get Willie. We can't get Willie. He's way beyond us. But here's my buddies from this great local band, Formula 5, and we'll just fill out the roster after them. And so that first year, I don't think we had any craft vendors on the pier. We just had a couple of food trucks here and there, but it was free, just a celebration for the folks, kind of giving back.
Yeah.
So we had the stage where we had it on the west side of the pier facing east, because that's where a plug was that had the amount of, the correct amount of power to power the stage. Yeah, we got in a little bit of trouble for the village and whatnot with the sound, I guess.
I loved it. I was gonna say, it was
yeah.
Good.
But no, after that, I was like, all right, we gotta move the stage. It's completely blocking one of the boats. Let's do this again. Let's charge money. People liked it. Big event. I think we had like 2,000 or something people walking on and off the pier from our, people standing out front with clickers. Let's make this a thing.
And before we get into 2018, you had what is now like one of the biggest bands in America, Goose, as your headliner. And or they weren't even the headliner. They were right before Formula 5, correct? Or
no, I don't even think they were there. They were, I think they were the second band that played.
No shit. Wow.
I can't really remember. I mean, we only had 4 bands that day. It was Goose, Formula 5, Capital Zen, and Mr. F.
Fucking great lineup, yeah.
And I think
I'd
Mr.
take
F
that
played.
today. Like,
yeah. But no, I remember Goose playing, and me personally, I'm not the biggest jam band guy. I respect the talent.
Yeah.
But I'm not, rocking out to it in my car. But I can hear the flow, like in live. I can, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But when Goose was playing, I was like, oh shit. Oh fuck, man, these guys rip.
Yeah.
Shit. And I remember after the stage, because we're all about giving back, helping these bands have a platform to kind of promote themselves, to grow bigger. So, I tell them all, set up a merch table, sell your stuff. We're not going to take a penny of it. You just got to provide your own salesperson. And I chased down the lead singer. I forget his name. Rick, yeah.
Yeah.
I chased down Rick, and I saw him just, he's just walking around while, the other band was playing, just kind of looking around. And I'm like, dude, I was like, Rick, people are really digging your guys' shit, man. Like, people want to buy your albums. Do you have a merch table set up? And he's like, we got a couple of things in the van, but I don't know, man. Just a lot of work. And I'm like, get your shit out here, man. We'll get you a table. Start selling your shit, dude. People, we're doing this for you. Like, fucking get your name out there, man. And he's like, I'll think about it. Never did it. And since it was anything to clean up, there were no gates, there was no picnic tables, no nothing. I was just like, all right, see, I'm gonna go back to my place and drink. Somehow Goose ended up coming back with us, and yeah, we were partying real late with Goose. All the guys in the band just pounding beers and shots, and my buddy Matt was talking to their drummer about, just nerding out about drummer history and drummer stuff. And I think, I forget where Rick was. He was kind of quieter, but he was around the house drinking with us. And I think they left at like 3 a.m. or so. And that was awesome. Like, I've never had a band come back to the house and pound drinks with us. And then I kind of just, I didn't hear from them until the pandemic happened. And I think Greg's came over and was like, yo, Goose is playing, like a rooftop or something like that, like some crazy...
Rockefeller.
Yeah, they're playing here. And I'm like, wait, Goose? Like the one that was the kid was sitting on my couch drinking fucking Budweisers or something like that. He's like, yeah, that goose, and damn. And then I heard they got together with Trey, and like, man, oh man.
Yeah, dude.
What a
it's crazy
transformation for him. I'm so happy for him.
It is, and I mean, now they're getting like nationwide success, like as far as like they were on Jimmy Kimmel Live, they were on Jimmy Fallon Live. Jimmy Fallon just sat in with them at the Capitol Theater. They're deserving of it all because it's like you said, it's there,
genuine,
man, But so yeah, if you play Rock the Dock, you might find yourself on TV one day. Don't hold me to it, but maybe.
Just be sure to come back. Pay it forward, man.
And 2018 was another great year. This is peak time for Formula 5. Solo Mondays playing, Strange Machines. Let's Be Leonard, Eastbound Jesus. I think they were 2019 Eastbound Jesus.
No, I think they were 2018.
Were they 2018?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. I must have been in the bus hanging out with Russ and Ray from Solomon.
Yeah.
But dude, yeah, it's just really cool, and that's another cool thing from living in Lake George.
Wasn't it? Sorry to cut you off. Wasn't it Russ that just had brain surgery,
right,
a month earlier? Didn't think he was going to be able to play.
Yep.
And then came back, and I mean, the first half of the day he slept on the bed in the bus just to calm it down from all the noise, and then he went out there, and that was incredible. They put on a hell of a show. Those guys are amazing, and I mean, they're also great to work with. Like they brought us up for a couple shows up in Vermont, and we're actually, by the time you already see this, Lamp, which is a member of J-Rad and Solomon together, they just, these nasty musicians, and there's a reason why they're in the Trey Anastasio band, just great jazz musicians. Love Cabot Cheese, they're from Vermont, but like I guess like I don't know, just like having 80K Fest in town, seeing Rock the Dock, you got like kind of like a staggered amount of events that don't overlap that you are looking forward to, where your summer is just like wished away, just great fucking events. And like, yeah, I mean, there were so many people who turned out last year. It was mind blowing, man. Which is incredible given the fact that unfortunately Galactic, due to an accident to their drummer, had to call out 48 hours before we went, before the festival started. Yeah. And hats off to, man, I tell you what, I remember getting a call from the agent, and the night before I had a dream, more of a nightmare, where Galactic was just about to go on stage, and I'm looking around for him, and I'm like, where's Galactic? And someone comes rushing up and was like, oh, Galactic just called, they can't make it. So I'm like, shit, and I woke up in like a cold sweat, I'm like, nah. That's not going to happen. Everything's going to be fine. It's looking good. Weather's good. And then, like, I was on the way down to get the banners for the stage, and Galactic's agent calls me, and he's like, hey, man. And I'm like, what's up, Thomas? Like, I'm looking forward to this. Does the band need anything? I can't get in touch with their manager. What's up? And he goes, yeah, Galactics can't play. And I'm like, I pulled over to the side of the road. I'm like, I'm gonna get in an accident here. Shit. And he's like, are you there? And I'm like, yeah. Fuck. And he's like, don't worry, man. I'm not pulling a fast one on you. I'm not joking around with you. And I'm like, fuck, man, I wish you were. Yeah, exactly. And, so I'm like, shit, we had all these t-shirts made up, posters, all the advertising said Galactic. And I'm like, man, we got too much money into this not to set it off, but we need a big time headliner. And thus set off a 10-hour sprint of vaping, drinking, and chain smoking cigars while making numerous calls to numerous people. And Dave Eamon hooked us up with Twiddle. And Twiddle, thank God they were willing to do it on such short notice. Dave Eamon, I can't thank him enough for saving the festival. and we were able to. And Twiddle's like, yeah, we don't want to release this until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And I'm like, that only gives us 30 hours before the start of the festival to announce this change. Can we do it earlier, like now? He's like, no. So I'm like, all right, well, I got to go with you guys because you saved our asses. So yeah, the fact that we only had 30 hours to announce
I never
the
thought
change.
about that. 30 hours.
Yeah.
And this
That's
was
PR nightmare. That's like
It's everything nightmare.
yeah. Yeah.
this was last year's festival.
This is last
Yeah.
year's festival.
Dude, I missed the entirety of the actual festival, but let me tell you, I don't know if you went to the after party at Lagoon afterward, but
I was chafing and sweating on the pier cleaning up.
Oh, these guys were chafing and sweating in
Bad
Lagoon with
chafe.
their. I very rarely do I ever feel like I'm in a position where I have to babysit these two people, but let me tell you,
I need to be babysat.
I don't know how
that
hard
night.
they went at Rock the Dock, but they kept it up.
I think it was just because like of how much day stuff was going around. Like I think I was just like dehydrated, and then at the same
Yeah.
time,
95
Yeah,
degrees.
all right.
yeah,
was
and
hot.
like
It
and
was-
like
sure.
and then like I don't know, like I in my head I was like, all right, we just fucking hustled ass. We're gonna start slamming. So we were slamming drinks
Yeah.
hard for an hour straight, like
Dude.
tequila,
Nice.
like mixing
Gotta
it all
hydrate.
up.
Dude.
People were buying, it was like, yeah. Then
I
he
don't-
ended up with no
I
t-shirt
don't
leaving
remember
the
the
show.
Lagoon.
Yeah.
I do
Dude,
remember
I had
Rock
to-
the Dock though, and it was a
I
fantastic.
had to gently explain to these two that you're not allowed to smoke cigarettes inside anymore.
I know. That's the thing. I don't even smoke cigarettes.
So, dude, I vape. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no,
I gave
no.
away my only Formula 5 shirt. Apparently, I
Yeah.
woke up the next day in a tank top. I was like, I don't even wear
Who's
tank
tank
tops.
top?
You
Wow.
traded a t-shirt with a random person.
Like, why?
Yeah.
My favorite, one of my favorites. Yeah.
But
Man.
yeah, but back
I gotta
to,
hire more people. I don't want to miss this next year.
Dude, that was so much fun. I think that after party location for Lagoon is a good like we're like King Neptune's was 100% the place to do one. Lagoon is just a great option as well because you're getting the breeze from the lake. It's not closed in. You
Yeah.
can go outside with being inside. And
Why were we smoking cigs inside, man?
I don't know, man.
Because that's where the bar's at.
Because the outside
Exactly. We
because
didn't want to admit.
the outside.
We already got our
inside were
10,000
all, like
steps.
one thing at that point. Like because they have that. I don't know. It kind of looks like one of those like overhead door type contraptions, and I think they just like lifted that up for Formula 5 because they knew like that whole bar was gonna be sweating.
Dude, and that's the thing, with the Village Mall, it's like half indoors, half outdoors. Like they got
Yeah.
the whole breezeway going through.
I totally forgot.
It's confusing.
Totally forgot about the heat though. I did not register to me until you said it.
Man.
But that's where. But going back to Dave Eamon, like Rain and Twiddle, who have great success here in the North Country for they're one of those bands, if you like them or not, they have roots in this area and they respect that. And
Yeah.
so they come back to people like Dave. Mahali comes back to the Putnam Place, fucking here right now. Yeah, so what a great fucking what a great
always-
alley-oop, dude.
Graduating from Castleton, I remember Twiddle played a free show in this little tiny half bowl amphitheater out in front of one of the lunch places there for our freshman orientation. I mean, I've been to numerous house parties along Bombazine, and they were raging out on some makeshift plywood stage. And so I remember when first we started with Rock Dock, I was like, all right, I can't get Willie Nelson. Twiddle. I want to bring Twiddle back because all of my friends went to Castleton. Let's bring Twiddle back in the fold. I reached out to their agent thinking, I have no idea. Honestly, I'm thinking, all right, we're just going to have to build a stage. I had no clue what I was doing. And I was like, hey, man, just getting started. I went to school with these guys. A lot of my friends are friends with them.
Yeah.
How much would it cost to get them here? And he's like, do you have a stage? I'm like, nope. I'm gonna build one, so you'll have one. Thinking all right, a couple grand. He's like 40. And I'm like, oh, shit. He didn't even put a dollar sign. He already knew we're not going to you. It just 40,000 was the only thing he replied in his email to me. And I'm like, oh, okay, man. Well, thanks for the heads up. And so to bring him back in, you know, and be able to have it work,
Yeah.
it just felt good. And I remember going up to Mahali afterwards, and he was already like in mode, like just autopilot after the show. And he was starting to walk away. And I'm like, hey, man. And he's like, oh, thanks for coming to the show. Thanks for having us. You know, it was great to be here. And as he was like kind of backpedaling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, just hold up for a second. And he stopped for a half second. I'm like, just want to say I remember 2005 freshman orientation, seeing you guys play. And, you know, seeing you guys play at these house parties on Bombazine. And he like stopped and he like, you know, I could see it in his eyes, like he actually focused on me. He like snapped out of it and he's like, oh, you know us from like the real beginning. Like, what year did you graduate? I was like, I graduated 2009. And he's like, oh my God, you were in my class, like, or something like that, like close to it. And he's like, oh, it's awesome, man, thank you. And then all of a sudden just, hey man, great, thanks for having us again. And he starts like backpedaling again. Like, for like that 1/2 second of clarity, I was like, all right, I see this dude, true dude. If he's not in autopilot mode, just solid cat.
Yeah.
And just absolutely blessed to have them save our bacon last year and have them play. It was just felt good, just kind of bringing everything back into the fold, back in the mix, family helping family.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
And speaking on last year, Chestnut Grove did play the side stage every in-between set from the main stage, and they are upgrading to the main stage this year with Neon Avenue taking the side stage, which is just so awesome. I mean, Grateful Dead music in between from members of Formula 5 and other bands. And I gotta just say, how fucking cool was it to see Joe Davis and Matt Richards do the guitar swap on stage, the guitar and keys, seeing some Formula 5 members playing the headlining piece. Like, I can't imagine what it was like for Joe, because I just look at Joe as like a fucking all-around great guy, honest human being, and for that trade-off
Salt
to
of the earth.
happen, yeah, exactly. Like, nobody deserves it more than him and Matt Richards, and what a great way to pay homage to what came before, you know? Like, it's really cool.
That's why, you know, I was so stoked to have Annie in the water last year, mostly because of Matt Richards, you know. If I can't get Formula 5 to kind of be here and help pass the torch, I want as much of those guys that help build this up as I can.
Yeah.
You know, Joe and Greg playing later at the, you know, the after party event, Matt being there, you know, and the older guys from previous iterations of Formula 5 being there. I mean, I wish James Woods was in a band. I think I tried reaching out to him to try to find him so he could get that back on there too. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. But, man, I just love having them involved. Unfortunately, wanted Annie in the water back this year. They were already booked. But really, really thankful that Joe is now a part with his new band, Neon Avenue. And I'm so stoked for him, Matt, and then, you know, whatever James is doing right now. And hopefully we'll see what Greg does when he gets back in action.
100%.
Maybe he can, you know, follow his passion and link up with another band and get chase that success like the rest of his guys are doing.
100%. And yeah, I mean, and I gotta say, even if you are not in it for the music, you just want to have a good time and drink some beers, this is the place to do it. In reality, you guys replaced Log Bay Day in a much safer way.
No deaths yet?
No.
Good ways to put it.
Yeah, I'll knock for you too.
Yeah, right.
No,
Come on, man.
Gabby
We're trying
Gary,
to get this going.
don't tip over.
Yeah, right.
So, on another subject, just to do some quick plugs here, we as all of you know, YouTube is the place to be for anything Mirth Films related. We're really trying to build up our YouTube presence and reach 100,000 subscribers by next year. It sounds crazy, but we're trying to do it. And so please help support what we're doing by going to YouTube. That is the best way to support Mirth Films. You can also go to mirth-films.com, where you can go and see all of our live music, article content, news, some bar etiquette, some Captain's Take stuff that Brett has been writing. That is really exciting. We're trying to branch out. It's not just about the music. It's about everything around it as well.
It's also about my bitter rantings from dealing with the fucking savages of Glens Falls.
That makes sense.
I think you guys would.
That's
enjoy
why
it.
I've only been to the bars in Glens Falls one time. I was like, yeah. I'm good.
If you guys have always wondered what it'd be like to be in a place where you could possibly get stabbed and there's disease running rampant, but Albany's too far away, Glens Falls is only right around the corner. So come to Peter's, please. I work there and I need money.
And if you don't drink, just go for the chicken wings, and you can smoke inside in their smoker's room.
Word?
Dude,
Yeah.
one of 2 bars left in New York State with a smoking room.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's
Yeah,
like going to
it's-
a Always Sunny Philadelphia bar.
It's-
It's literally that.
It's like
dude.
stepping back in time.
I like to hear that. I will say I remember going down to the bars. It was like my birthday one time in New Orleans. I was there with my girlfriend, and I don't smoke cigarettes. I smoke little cigars, Backwoods, Honeyberry Backwoods, the Davidoff cigarellos. And I just remember because all the bars, at least back then, were still smoking. And I'm sitting there, everyone's chiefing cigs around me at this bar, and I'm there with my Honeyberry Backwoods, which smells delicious.
Yeah.
And the bartender lady comes over to me and goes, "I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you to put that out." And I'm like, I thought she was joking. I'm like, "Oh, you're just, I'm from New York, so you're just fucking with me, even though I'm originally from here." And she's like, "No, your cigar is giving me a headache." Not these guys? Me? It's like it just blew my mind. I'm like, "No, you don't have to worry about me. I'm getting the fuck out of here." But no, that's awesome. I'm glad. Being a smoker, trying to be former smoker, I find that
That's the dream.
Right.
smokers are like the last group of people you can really discriminate against.
Dude, I gotta tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
At work, we have an outside area for the smokers. And there's it's split up into 2 sides. And dude, the heat lamps, they'll break. And then they just won't replace that heat lamp. So it's slowly we're just getting less and less heat lamps. It's dude, they don't. One of the doors has caution tape on it with a sign that says "Don't open it." So we only have one way out. And it's I don't think they're planning. It's been like that for 2 weeks. I don't think they're planning on fixing it. They just don't want us to go out and smoke.
No.
Yeah, just get better.
Yeah. No. So the fact that your bar's taking a stand,
Yeah,
respect
love it.
that.
Yeah.
Love it.
So we only qualify on the grounds that we would go bankrupt if we didn't have it. And every 3 years we have to reapply for exemption from the Indoor Clean Air Act. And dude, somehow we do it. We do it every year.
That's awesome.
You guys are like
That's even better.
cockroaches.
That's even
Dude,
better
that's
that
great.
you have
We
to
sell-
apply
we
for
sell-
it and you
We sell
send
cigarettes for $14 a pack, and people buy them all day. It's tremendous. We are a relic of what Glens Falls bar life used to be. Even though it's on the come up again, and I've said that a few times on the podcast.
Oh, 100%. There is
but-
definitely some change. For sure.
Dude, you go. Just call
It's an experience.
the bar someday and just be like, "Hey, remember I was on that podcast once."
I'll wear some
Say-
chainmail and I'll get right in there.
That's it.
You'll get robbed. Sir.
You get robbed.
Anything
So-
that sounds expensive, people will steal.
Well, at least I won't be getting stabbed.
Hey, yeah.
That's a good point. Box cutters hurt.
So, other than that, we have, by now, Listen Up Awards has happened, and we will be talking about it next episode.
So congratulations to all the winners.
Congratulations, winners. But yeah, just a quick plug before we jump into the last topic. We got some Putnam Place shows coming up. As all of you know, every Monday you can go to Family Tree and Sly Fox and the Hustlers. We're actually working on a documentary on Family Tree Band, which is just this super awesome group of musicians who just get together and jam, and they do it for the sake of jamming. That's every Monday. Every Wednesday, come here for Country Kickers, line dancing with Kevin Richards, one of the all-time greats in radio broadcasting and just all-time greats in just being a fucking good human being. Go and check that out. Honestly, even if you don't like country music or you don't know what line dancing is, we will have a video coming out very soon on how to line dance.
I'm gonna need to watch that.
It was actually came out good, and like the crowd was like like an older crowd, like 40 to like 65, just people mostly sipping on Coca-Cola and water and just having a good time moving their feet.
Wait, Coke and water mixed together or separate?
Separate.
Yeah.
No mocktails here.
That's
actually, there is mocktails on the menu. I now that I bring that up, which I actually felt insulted when I said I liked them, because I was like, this Kayla, who was working at the bar, like this dude's like buying me a drink because I was like going through some shit last week, and I was like, oh, I actually love mocktails. She's like, yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yes.
I was like, okay.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I do like mocktails.
Yeah, I would.
April 6th, we got Tropidelic with Joey Harcum. I don't even know what camera I'm like looking at right now. April 7th, we do have the Lizards, awesome Fish tribute band that plays music to a T, even live renditions of music. They're like the Dark Star Orchestra of Fish cover bands. Then we have Lucid, which is, I think, an electronic act. Don't hold me to it, but it's April 8th. We wouldn't know that shit. We were in a band called Break the Step, and we don't like it, dubstep. So, but we do like the Putnam Place, so definitely come out for that, even if you do like jam bands or country line dancing. April 14th, we have Hazy's album release party and birthday. Hazy is a DJ from the Capital Region who also does work with High Peaks. I think he was on the crew for Rock the Dock last year, but Hazy's
nice.
a great guy, and it's his birthday. Come out and buy him a drink.
Happy early birthday, brother.
Or a mocktail. And then April 19th, great day here in Saratoga, New York, Saratoga Springs. We got Dopapod coming into town, so just be ready for the same song.
Dude, just find a place to park your bicycle. That's the important part.
Exactly. It's going to be bicycle day, so make sure you ride safe and stay hydrated. April 28th, we have Jim Cotta with Han Zolo. If you don't know Han Zolo, go and check them out right now. They're one of the best rising acts from this area. They're actually from Cooperstown, so greater New York area. But we did do Han Zolo live at the Palace, and it was a great production. Shout out to Alec Lewis with the sound for that day. Go and watch it on the Mirth Films YouTube channel and then subscribe. And then lastly, Spafford, May 4th. I cannot wait for that. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. And if you come May 4th to this place, you will realize, wow, they're your favorite band as well. So something I wanted to talk to you about personally, photography. I'd never realized you did photography until like maybe 3 years ago, until I started seeing like these nasty fucking photos coming from Colorado.
Thanks, man.
And like just like the detail and the dedication and like I always wondered, but before we get there, like what got a camera in your hand in the first place?
I mean, I've always kind of been into photos and taking pictures, but back in high school it was, I'm gonna get one of these cheap Kodak disposable cameras. I'm gonna go to all of my friends' parties, and I'm gonna take pictures of us playing beer pong or just being drunk and hammered. And while the girls are taking selfies, I'm getting the shots that memories. And then I'd take I'd go on hikes and stuff back in my salad days, and I'd take shots of people at the tops of the mountains or but it was never truly landscape. And then I graduated from college and I was, working here more, and I got a little digital camera, and I started taking pictures of the lake more. I was walking my dog, my puppy Gracie, so she was getting me out right around sunset time up at the rec center and these other places. And I was like, oh shit, this is beautiful. And I just started taking more and more landscape photos. And then my ex-girlfriend's like, yo, you could probably sell these shots. And I'm like, I could use some lunch money. And so I start, trying to sell them, and, and then I saw, what photos were selling. And I'm like, oh, I better up my game. Dad hooked me up with, he wanted me to do a project for him where I'd scan all his old, or Carl would scan all his old slides from his 1954 trek to find the magnetic North Pole up in the Arctic.
God damn.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that was crazy. They ran into like 2 hurricanes, like perfect storm style. They got stuck in the ice and had to get broken out by a Canadian icebreaker. They found one of the graves, I think Shackleton, who went down up there. They found a couple of the graves up there, like in the Baffin Islands. They traded for like narwhal tusks with the natives. They found the magnetic North Pole, and then they made it all the way back. It's up like, I forget where, but like Baffin Island, I think, is the big one.
Okay.
And it was like further west from there. Wild trip. My grandfather was elected to the Explorers Club, I think put on by National Geographic, the same people that Sir Edmund Hillary, who the first guy to hike Everest, is a part of. And then later on, Armstrong, first man on the moon, is a part of that club.
Wow.
So it was a big deal back then. I think Time Magazine did it. But so anyhow, I got hooked up with Carl, and he started showing me Photoshop. So then I started Photoshopping these things. Then my dad bought me my first DSLR camera, Nikon D7000, back in 2012. And pictures here. And then the X broke my heart, and I went west, and that's when I discovered my fascination with the mountains out there. And
Wow.
Really started, going into sunrise, sunset shots, since I just spent the whole winter out there. Licking my wounds and taking pictures with my 2 dogs. And the rest is
That's awesome.
history.
So when you're going out there, after you've already been out there for some time, because you go every year, right? Or
Try to. Last year, couldn't. But yeah.
So when you're doing that, I always wondered, like, how much research are you putting into this? Like, because like, I've like had this, like, I just want to say what you're doing is inspiring. Like you and Viniato are like some of my favorite photographers. That because the landscape,
Thank you, man.
the dedication. I know that motherfucker will stand out there all night for a fucking photo and just suffer the joy for that image.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get better at pre-planning, so I stay away from live music. I'm better. I've really I've seen your work, and I'm like, fuck, dude. Like that's like I said, inspiring and like makes me want to get out. Like we talk about the Northern Lights. Like I called him last night after I saw Pencil's photo. I was like, damn, man. Like, and I reached out. I was like, should we just go? And so I drove up, and then he drove. We thought the photo was in like the east side of the lake, but then you told me over the phone that you took it right from fucking $1 Million, and I was like, damn. Like, so what is your process in your mind when you're preparing for, collecting a batch of photos when you're in a certain area for only a certain duration of time?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes on these trips, I'm in a spot, like I'm in Glacier for 24 hours, maybe. But then if the colors are not great in Glacier, but they're really going off down in the Tetons, because one winter storm could whip through there and boom, all those leaves would be gone.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, all right, well, I guess I got to leave here and drive 12 hours further south. But honestly, what I like to do is I like to follow a bunch of landscape photographers out there online on Facebook. And then I'll see the places they're at. And I'll see all these cool places to check out. And then I'll go on Google Earth. I'll find that place and I'll put a little pin there, get the coordinates for it. And then, if I'm trying to find the fall colors, I will, I'll join these Facebook groups, the photo groups for that specific area.
Okay.
And I'll go on there and see if, all right, fall colors look like they're coming in, still about a week or two off, so I can delay heading out there for a little bit. Or if they're really hitting hard, I'm like, I got a boogie. I got 3 days to drive across the country. I got to beat feet. But then, and I used to just use Google Earth to see where the sun was rising on your computer. You have this little button, and you can see like where approximately the sun's going to rise, when the light's rays will fill up a certain valley at a certain time or hit a certain peak, and then I just try to time it up with that and getting there, an hour, if not more, early, especially if it's like the maroon bells. Sunrise wasn't until, or first light wasn't until like 6:30, but I knew maroon bells, the most photographed mountains in America, had to get there early. Got there at 4:30 in the morning, the last parking spot in this little parking area. People had been there since like 3:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I mean, we have got skunked, but
you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Mother
and it's
Nature,
tough
man.
It's tough in those high mountains. Like, you think the weather's unpredictable here.
Yeah.
Those mountains, you're talking vertical relief of 4,000 or 5,000 feet. It's insane.
Holy shit.
And so, yeah. But I go on Google Earth. I find the spot. Use what is it? The photographer's ephemerates or something like that. I got the app on my phone, which I turned off.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
but
Okay.
it'll show you and I use the 3D version of it. You pay for it, but you can go to anywhere. You can go to anywhere on the map and zoom in, and it'll give you a 3D profile of what the area looks like, and then you can zoom forward on the time scale there, and it'll show you lines of like where exactly the sun's coming up at that day at that time. Where exactly it's coming.
Wow.
And then it'll give you accurate information about, all right, when is the last of the sun's rays as it's setting? Because you want kind of a sunset, but you want this mountain highlighted. So you can go there and you can see the light kind of slowly receding up the mountain. So you can be sure to be at a certain spot at a certain time.
Oh, holy shit. Okay.
And then it's just shit luck, with the clouds.
Yeah.
Because weather in mountains is useless.
It is.
And, wildfires out there, and also because everything's so large out there, is there a massive group of clouds way in the distance that's going to stop the sun from hitting these clouds? But you do it anyways.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to open up. Like, there's been so many times where I've gone to some place and been skunked on a decent sunset. But then there's other times when I'm looking at the clouds and I'm like, I'm not going to drive an hour and a half. Look at these clouds. They're crazy.
Yeah.
There's nothing's going to happen tonight. And then I look on Facebook the next day and it was the most incredible sunset ever.
Yeah, of course.
Like, it happened to me one time when I hiked up to the Delicate Arch in Arches National Park in Moab in Utah. Clouds the whole time.
No shit.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, this sucks, but I'm at the Delicate Arch. I'm going to take some shots, wait for people to get the fuck out of the way because everyone wants to take a picture under the arch, them kissing their boo or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting up there. It's starting to get dark, and then all of a sudden, like, there's like this much on the horizon. The sun peeked through that little bit. Everything lit up red. It was insane. I mean, I had to come down this, exposed rock face. It's a mile and a half up, and at night with no flashlights. My phone was almost about to die.
Oh shit.
I mean, I made it down, but yeah, it's just that, and but more importantly, like, giving yourself that time, And it's funny, when I take these trips, I'm on vacation, but I'm not. I'm waking up at 3 a.m. to get in the car by 4 a.m, to drive to a place by 5 a.m, sit for 2 hours in the cold, windy, nighttime for a sunrise. And then I'm like, well, I'm an hour away from my place where I'm staying. I might as well tool around here for the whole day, wait until sunset. And then it's like, okay, I got to wait till half an hour after sunset. And then I'm going to drive an hour back to my place, grab something to eat along the way, and I won't get back until like 10 at night. And it's just every day, just start that process. But it's the time.
It's the time.
You're a fucking animal.
Yeah, no, really. It's, I mean,
Once like the first day, it's like, oh, this fucking sucks. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I just want to fucking eat and smoke and ugh, go back to bed. But then once you get into it and you get into that mode, then you go for it. The one thing that I should do more, which is what, Ansel Adams, Stoddard, Stieglitz, all these early photographers back in the day, each glass plate is heavy. And they'd have these old school cameras and they'd be lugging around, 40, 50 pounds of gear, but they only have like 5 photographs to take. It's just 5 glass plates because it was so expensive and heavy and fragile. So they had to visualize what kind of shot they wanted to take at a certain area and where they were going to set up. I mean, digital nowadays, it's just like, I'll crack off 1,000 photos at a spot, not even think nothing of it. But they,
they're stuck to the role.
Yeah, they're thinking more about what they want to take. And I kind of, I try to do that as much as possible. Like, what kind of shot? All right, I know there's this in the foreground, want this. But at the same time, you have to be adaptable. It's like, okay, what I was expecting isn't what's happening. Oh, here's a flower over here. I might sacrifice the shot that I want to take for this other shot.
Yeah.
And, you have to at the same time be willing to move around, be mobile. A lot of photographers will just kind of stay put and stay at one spot until they get that one perfect shot, which might be great. But at the same time, you might be missing out on something equally spectacular.
Yeah.
And if you're not living in Colorado, this is my one shot. I can't come back the next day or in a week. And honestly, sometimes the best shots are where not everyone's looking. Like, I remember at the Maroon Bells, I took my classic shot of the Maroon Bells. You have to do it. But then I started walking around the lake and I looked back away from the Maroon Bells and I saw the calmness of the lake, the reflection of the aspens, the golden aspens on these other super red rocks and mountain that was right behind us. And that was my favorite shot, not the bells. Yeah. So, it pays to kind of go in with a plan, but keep your eye open and just constantly be looking around.
Be aware.
Yeah.
Be aware and a lot of the times, you're going there looking for the shot that, like you said, that rite of passage shot when you're going to. For me, it was the first time I ever experienced anything like that was Indian Head, and it was just so vast and beautiful,
Yeah.
And then then I got to thinking, it was like number one, it was like we hiked up there because it was like, I don't know, I for me it was like my way of like, all right, I'm launching my business. I want to do something fucking awesome, and to me that was my level of awesome. And then, but like a year passed, and then my buddy was just like, we should go back up there and try to get the Milky Way down between the lake, and that's
Classic.
Where it was really cool to go up there and do that. We got stuck in a situation where there was a streak of clouds that happened to pass right when we was going here. We got the clouds, and so I got mine a little off. And maybe it'll just come as I learn, but I try not to manipulate the background too much, or if I'm doing sky replacement, it's for real estate or something where I'm trying to sell. But that, I look at that as artwork, and those people do wait for that moment. Like, to me, that is kind of a disrespect to the game.
Yeah.
But so back to my story, I tilted my camera like on my tripod, just looking in a different direction over the peak, like an hour before it's moving towards the direction of the lake, and it to me is one of my favorite shots, and I never would, and I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't forced to think different. And I couldn't agree with you more. And but like the pre-planning like really like matters so much. Like I that's something like you said, you could go up there with a plan, but like, you know, Mother Nature has a different, you know, plan for you. So, but yeah, and just to plug what you're doing, like where can people purchase your art?
Well, I've got a few of my canvas prints up at Giuseppe's Pizzeria. I've got more of them up at Biscotti Brothers Cafe, both in Lake George. You can go on my website, which I haven't updated in a while because I'm lazy/busy.
Yeah.
Or you can go on my Facebook page where all my newer stuff is constantly going up.
Awesome, man. And you got a great following on there. And it's, like I said, it's just really cool to see like the work that comes out of that trip, because you're like you've told me in the past, you might be like working on that photo like a couple of weeks later, and honestly I kind of envy
a year
that.
later.
Or I envy the fuck out of that, because like, you know, in the world of live music, it's I need this tomorrow or your shot's not number one.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like thinking I usually in that process I'm editing all my photos the same fucking night, you know.
Yeah.
But like to be able to cherish that sentimental moment of taking that photo and looking back and be like, and maybe even forgetting that you took it, but then looking at it again and being like, oh, that wasn't my favorite photo. This was, you know, like your whole mind shifts and changes. Like,
absolutely. And there'll be times where I'm editing a photo and I'll look at it and I'm like, wait a second, what's this? And I'll zoom in on a certain part of it and I'll be like, oh shit, just this little cropped section is way better than the whole feeling I was getting from the photo at large.
yeah.
And so it's almost like a blessing not looking at those photos for so long. Not, you know, because I'm doing it maliciously. It's just because I can't edit the photos when I'm on the road for a month. And then, you know, I take a total of 10 or 12,000 photos during one trip, you know, most of them are bracketed. So then, you know, with my normal job, I can only edit one or two. I'll wake up at 5 in the morning, edit 2, 3, 4 photos before I go into work. It takes a while to get through those thousands of photos. And so not being able to see it for a year, you kind of go into it with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you see it and you're like, oh man, you just like, it brings you right back to standing there.
I can't imagine. And that's where I need to preface, like, if you're somebody that doesn't play the game of social media because you have that approach. And just a reminder for people out there like pumping out content, nobody's expecting it. Only you're expecting to deliver it. So like take the extra time, you know, put in the love. Like you've been working your ass off on this upcoming video and I can't wait to see it, man.
Oh, it's gonna be a good one.
And I like the quantity versus quality game just doesn't work out in the end. If you have no weight to hold, what's the point, you know? Like at the end of the day, like, are you doing stuff to do stuff, or are you doing something because you believe in it and you're putting in, you know, that Roger Sharp extra work, being up till fucking sunrise, loading that gear in the next morning and suffering the joy. That's what it's about. There's a reason why that pain exists, and I think your threshold level even adapts to that, and what you experienced in the past is just, you know, it's not as tough that next time around. Like you said, that first initial day, yeah, fuck, it sucks. Like when my buddy told me, he's like, I got to get up at that time, I was like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you're going to be up. And I was like,
get up at that time and
was
then
like,
hike.
And then
in
hike,
the dark.
Yeah, hike in the dark, hike down. Yeah, I mean, and 4,000, 5,000. Jesus Christ, dude! Like, so yeah, Luke, head to Luke's website. You know, definitely we'll make sure to get the URL in the description, and Luke Dow Photography right on Facebook. You can see photos almost daily that you're putting out. All amazing work, and
Thanks,
and
man.
I can't wait to just continue seeing everything else you do down the road, man. And but we'd like to wrap up our episode by talking about what we've been consuming for media, what we've been watching, what we've been listening. If you play video games, what you've been playing, and so I'll just start it myself watching. I watched some Diablo 4 beta. I grew up playing Diablo 2, one of my favorite games of all time, and it's so cool to see that Diablo 4 is actually a well-developed game, something that you cannot say about games releasing in this era of video gaming. It's just the level of quality is not there, but Blizzard has not forgot. I've been watching a lot of Tiger Woods videos. I've been dealing with some personal shit, and I don't know. In times like that, like I try to like watch the best, and to me, who are the best? MJ, fucking I hate to say it, Tom Brady, Tiger Woods. I mean, just the way that guy carries himself, and just some of the things that he has done to, I don't know the game. I look like you could say that guy has done some fucked up things, but like in reality, we all have our fucking issues. But that I don't know. He's like inspiring to me.
You watched that documentary on Netflix that came out like 2020-ish?
I don't know. What was it called?
I mean,
I've just been watching YouTube videos.
Dude,
I forget the exact
it was
name.
It's called 18 Holes in One Day, and I still find time for golf.
Wow.
Damn.
No, I don't know, but I've heard about it. I've
Yeah.
heard it was
I
good.
thought that was real.
I sold it
That's
for
good.
a second. I didn't stick the landing.
I mean, it sounds great. Be a great name for like Johnny Sin's autobiography or something like
Dude.
that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you're a doctor, like a lawyer, an astronaut, a plumber, pizza delivery guy,
Army sergeant.
Army sergeant.
You see that from the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah, someone tweeted at the Vikings saying, "Hey,
So
this is
great.
my cousin Johnny Sins." If you don't know, and if you're just playing ignorant for the cameras, is like one of the most renowned like male porn stars in like.
Oh,
human
okay.
history.
I didn't know who he was. I was like,
We
Yeah.
actually
They
weren't playing
were-
for
they-
cameras.
I was like, oh, this guy like Mr. Beast or
Like,
something?
yo, shout out to my
my-
cousin Sergeant whatever.
Sergeant
Like,
Sins.
and it was like Soldier Appreciation Day at the Minnesota Vikings Stadium, and so they put this tweet with this porn star actor up on their big screen
Oh my
Megatron thing, like
God.
shout out to the troops, yeah. And everyone,
I
Twitter
understand.
exploded. It was
Oh my
so
God.
funny.
That's funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so if you're feeling down in the dumps, watch fucking motivational videos. MJ's multi-series documentary. Even if you don't watch basketball, just hearing the guy talk about crushing and like ruthlessly and not giving a shit,
Ooh.
super motivated, focused. Like that's what it's about. Like
You gotta. MJ's thing was good. The one that's on Bill Russell that just came out this year on Netflix.
check that
It's-
one out too.
You talk about a guy who, figured out ways to win, but at the same time, he wasn't about me. I'm
Okay.
gonna get my shot. I'm gonna get my points. He was like, how do I make my team better? I want to win at all costs. Doesn't mean, and he played for Boston. I mean, he's the guy that won the 11 rings with Boston.
Right.
With the Celtics. He put the Celtics like on the map with the Lakers going back and forth. And at the same time, this is back in the 60s, his city was hating on him. He wanted to buy a house like 1 year I think they've just finished winning their like 4th or 5th championship.
Yeah.
And his local area, I think Roxbury, like threw him a dinner like, oh man, we're so stoked to have you here, congratulations, thank you for bringing so much success to our city. And the next year he got this contract, I think it was like $100 million, which was huge. No, $100 million
In
and
the-
$1
in the
because
60s?
he wanted one more dollar than Wilt Chamberlain just got. So 100 million and like $1.
That's crazy.
And
Dude, if this is the 60s
he's like,
too,
it's
that's
time
massive
to
money.
it's like it's time to upgrade our house. So he went to try to buy a bigger house in that town. That same town that just a year earlier or so was like giving this guy all the credit in the world and just kissing his feet, they had a vote not to allow him to buy a nicer home in a nicer part of that town. Like all the
That's
people of the
funny.
town and the neighbors were like, we don't want you living next to us.
Bruh.
Whoa.
Like there were people, he had like a flat tire one time in Boston where he was bringing championship after championship after championship. He had a flat tire and people were driving past him yelling the N-word.
That's so fucked up, man.
But he kept with it and just kept that I can do it, perseverance.
Yeah.
You want someone that overcame a ton to really, him, Muhammad Ali, lay the way to, for African Americans in sports and just try to end racism. How can you?
Yeah.
But like what they did for the civil rights movement and all they persevered through is insane. Watch that.
I will definitely watch that one. Definitely check that one out. Also, watching some Russell Brand. I think he's a great way to consume news content. After you've done your research, he's right on a lot of things, and he's just a funny guy.
What did you think about him on Bill Maher a couple weeks ago with Bernie Sanders?
I didn't see that, but I saw his Tucker Carlson appearance, and they were kind of just like talking about.
Fucking guy.
I can't stand him either, but they were like talking about how like all these things that were voted on were pretty much like 59 to 40 9 51 to 49 type of votes where it's like you really got to really look into what are the lesser of two evils at sometimes. And
It's unfortunate.
this isn't a politic podcast, but if you stay up to date on what's going on in the world, Russell Brand is a great non-biased opinion either way to look at the world. Also, the end of DP Review. DP Review is one of the greatest websites to ever come out of photography. Some of the best forums are from DP Review, news articles, all of that. They've been doing so much for the community over literally 20 years, and they're now shutting the doors. Amazon is shutting the doors for them, unfortunately, and they're killing everything from their website to their YouTube channel. And if you like Chris and Jordan Nichols, they're one of my favorite camera reviewers. They came from Camera Store TV, went to DP Review. Now they're going to Petapixel. So go and watch their journey. They're some of my favorite people to watch, and definitely check them out. I listened to the Glenn Friedman podcast of 9 Club, photographer, anti-establishment. You would love this one.
Check it out.
Great. And he also shot all of early hip hop, West Coast, all of the album covers from Beastie Boys to Ice-T to he did stuff for Madonna, so many great things. And this guy was a skateboarder at one point. Definitely check that out. Listening Jay-Z Unplugged. It's one of my favorite Unplugged albums that ever came out of the MTV Unplugged era, other than Alice in Chains Unplugged. Really good jams in there. Also Jared Polin, for what he's worth, I love him. One of my favorite camera YouTubers, Frono's Photo. Jared Polin is a straight up asshole. He reminds me of Ben Stiller from Dodgeball, but somebody's got to be like that. And also music wise, been continuing my listening to the Donnas and then Mott the Hoople. I haven't played video games in 3 weeks, so I'm fiending. What about you, man? What have you been consuming?
I finished F1 2021 campaign. Whatever one's on Game Pass, I just finished that one. That was a lot of fun.
Okay.
That's the only game I've been playing. I've been, watching a lot, but I can't think of anything right now. Definitely still F1 Drive to Survive. I actually started watching that Waco docuseries they have on Netflix.
That's wild.
I actually am going to have to watch a little bit of that before I go to work today. I was just sitting here thinking about that. I'm like, man, that's
Insane.
intense as fuck.
Their followers are still
dude,
hey.
She seemed like she was 100. It was.
She's like,
it was
it might not
tense.
seem great to sleep with 12-year-old girls, but, in conventional laws, but women come to age at 11, 12.
I haven't
And so
gotten-
they're
oh my
women.
God.
He can have sex, and you're just like, what is this bitch saying?
Dude, when
Oh,
she was
shit.
like
Sorry,
letting
really.
like when they like were getting like the kids out, she's like giving my kids up was literally the hardest thing I've ever done. It's like, dude, the place was getting shot up. Like, oh, and so check
Yeah.
that out. Other than that, listening, Art Bell Podcast. I Love 90s Hip Hop on Spotify. That's been a fire playlist. SZA, I've been checking her out a little bit. That SOS album is pretty good. Other than that, I can't think of anything else. So
Been getting back into my bluegrass roots again.
There you go.
Been listening to Chris Stapleton's bluegrass project, Steel Drivers. That, keeping up with my Old Crow Medicine show as I always do. So at the time that this is being shot, today is my bartending mentor, Sean Beers' 45th birthday. So I was at Peter's last night celebrating with him, and I threw on a bunch of like a bunch of Motown, and then after like 2 hours of Motown, I switched up to this bluegrass, and all of a sudden everyone's like, what the fuck is all this? And I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm just a product of Washington County, but I've always had, like, that is like heartland music if there ever was any, to like the development of, I don't know, like United States, like rural culture. Call me self-aggrandizing or whatever the word is, I don't know. I'm running on very little sleep. But listen to that, and then like just really diving into like old school punk. Like basically anything that was on like the Grand Theft Auto 5 radio punk station, I've just been like jamming out to.
Nice.
And then every now and then I'll be in the shower and Wild in the Streets will come on, and I'll just be like just banging my fucking head in the shower, and my fiance thinks I have problems, and she's probably right, but it's just super just, I don't know, I can never stick with a genre for too long. So it's either something really laid back and meaningful and like very nice, like heartfelt lyrics, or it's just like, or it's like the kind of music that people listen to while they're skateboarding and committing crimes. It's like there's no in between.
Yeah.
I haven't played any video games. What did I watch the other day? Oh my god. It's called Finders. I think it's called Finders Keepers. It's a documentary on this guy. Okay. He dies. No, he gets in a plane crash. And his father dies. He loses his leg in said plane crash. Asks a funeral home to embalm it. And his plan was to make it like a shrine for his dead dad.
Oh,
okay.
With
so
his own leg or his dad's leg?
his own.
story?
This is a true story.
okay.
No
So
shit.
with his leg. So funeral home's like, yeah, that's not weird. Let's do that. Then puts the leg inside like a smoker grill and like to stow it away until he knows how he's gonna make this shrine. Puts all of this in a storage unit. Then this dude moves like out of state and he stops paying his storage unit. Someone buys the unit in auction, opens up the smoker. It's like, fuck, there's a leg here. And instead of finding out whose it was or anything, he opens up a fucking exhibit at his house where people can pay money to see an embalmed human leg. It's called
Oh my
it's
God.
called Finders Keepers. It is completely real. I wish I was making any part of this up.
What the
Everything
fuck?
about it's real. It is still an ongoing thing because the two sides have never come to any form of a conclusion. And
Wow.
dude,
So where is this? Let's go see this leg.
dude, it's like North Carolina.
Okay. Nick's
Which-
moving to North
that-
Carolina.
those
We
are
can
good
go visit.
barbecue.
Great,
Is
yeah.
that why it was in the smoker?
That might have been why it was in the smoker. Which, by the way, speaking of smokers,
Yeah, that was an odd. Dude, I was
Wow.
really waiting for that to come into play in a
Wow.
different way.
dude, every other scene, there is someone without all of their teeth smoking a cigarette. Every other time the camera cuts,
Okay.
it's someone smoking a cigarette with like a shirt that is just a little too small for him, and they're speaking in like a dialect you understand most of, but not all of. And of all the people, the person who got his leg embalmed, his amputated leg embalmed, is the most normal person of everyone in that.
Oh my God.
I gotta watch this.
Well, put your
Yeah,
best
right?
leg
What's
forward.
it on?
Fucking-
Yeah, put your best foot forward, but keep your best leg in the smoker.
What platform is this on?
Oh, dude, like 3 or 4. It's all rental services. So you're gonna have to like.
Oh, it's
You
a
gotta pay
rental.
for this one.
Like
Okay.
it was like $3, I think, on Prime.
It kind of sounds.
Actually,
worth
I
it.
think what is the free like Roku TV actually has it for free with commercials.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, with commercials?
Roku
Yeah,
TV? Can't do that.
pretty sure it's called Finders Keepers. If it isn't, I typed in on Roku TV severed leg, and found it
That's funny.
because my fiance told me about it, and I was like,
okay.
this is up my fucking alley. This is the delightful combination of dumb redneck and entertaining plot line and just unique premise that really just draws me in.
No, it sounds like a
I get
Washington
it.
County thing. I can understand why you'd want to watch it.
I'm gonna kill you, Frank.
All right.
So what about you, man?
Shit, after severed legs, I don't know.
That's hard to follow.
Really?
What'd you
Yeah,
have for
right?
breakfast this morning?
Fuck, I can tell you what I eat for breakfast, yeah. Music, it's just all over. I just listen to YouTube, and if there's something I like, then I download it. My buddy played this thing in his car. It's called Hold On. I don't know what the band is about, like what their name is, but the fucking chorus I can't get it out of my head. It's lodged in there. I could tell you my phone's turned off and take a while. But mostly rap or Tool. I like Tool.
Tool, nice,
Solid.
man.
Watching, I mean, I throw the TV on when I'm editing photos, so I watch like a shitload of TV.
Okay.
Just background noise. Always Sunny's good, but I got on Hulu Under the Banner of Heaven. Apparently, it was like a John Krakauer or something like that book about like murder and Mormons out in Utah back in the 80s. Great fucking show.
Wow.
Great acting. If you can, like the dude who played Spider-Man like 4 or 5 years ago is in that show. A couple of other people you'll recognize, like insane. And it's like apparently a true story. And I'm like, wow, Mormons are fucked up.
Wow, holy shit.
Wild. I mean, The Last of Us wrapped that up this week, and I don't want to give any spoilers. I don't know about that ending.
Well, if you are a gamer, it is based off a video game, and it is one of the best games that PlayStation has ever developed. You can play it remastered now on PS5, or watch it on Netflix, right? Is that where it is, Netflix? Or?
HBO.
Oh, it's on HBO?
Yeah.
Okay, watch it on HBO. Get the free trial, then unsubscribe. Well, dude, just want to say thank you very much for coming on. This has been, honestly, just an incredible podcast just to listen about just like how much fucking effort, like in everything we talked about, you guys yourself put into the things you're doing. And July 8th, if you're coming from out of town, especially if you're from Jersey, you know you're coming to Lake George this summer. Definitely make your way July 8th to Rock the Dock Music Festival in Lake George, New York. It's going to be a great time, all-day event. Bring the kids. Yeah, even if, like I said, even if you're not into the music, catch the views. And because Lake George is one of the most beautiful lakes in the world, and we're not biased at all.
Not a single bit.
Nope, not a single one.
I want to interject.
Okay.
A couple
let's hear it.
things. 3 things. 1, not biased. Lake George might not be the most beautiful lake in the world, but I've been in all 50 states. I've seen a shit ton of lakes. No lake, especially in the summertime, combines beauty, accommodations, just fishing, islands, beaches, better than Lake George, and the cleanliness of the lake. In the summertime, there literally is no better lake than Lake George in the country, and I've seen a shit ton of them.
Hell yeah.
2, Rock the Dock, 4 to 11 p.m. Late night show. The E-Block is playing at the Lagoon again.
That's right.
They're the after party. Check them out. Mark and his guys do an incredible job over there. 3, the most important thing that I wanted to say, everyone thinks that the American dream is gold paved fucking streets, becoming a millionaire, girls or dudes on either arm, whatever you want, just making it rich. No, the American dream is able to follow your passion and being able to live and provide for your family and loving what you do, going into work every day and loving to do that. Being able to do something that you absolutely just love and turn it into money. Like, that's the American dream. And you guys, especially you, Frankie, you're following your passion and you are making a living. You are absolutely crushing it. You are just skyrocketing to the top of your craft. And I gotta say, that's an American success story right there.
Thanks, man. That means a lot.
Doing what, and you, man, I'm fucking jealous. I'll tell you that,
dude. Thank you, man.
Because you're killing it, and I see the passion in you, in your work.
Yeah.
Professional, courteous, easy to work with. Man, you have my utmost respect.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
You're following the American
That was
dream,
really
brother.
And I just gotta say, like,
that felt nice to see go down just now.
I just want to say that, like, I really, like, don't have any of that without people like you guys. And I say that because, like, especially, like, like, we had a rough time 10 years ago. Like, dropping out of school, you getting busted in school. and just
way.
Because of skateboarding, man. Like, skateboarding was like the open opportunity to me that I realized that there's something greater in life. And that, to me, at that point in time, was being around people that were, going through the same things and really just wanted it. And we all thought we were going to be pro skaters. And but I would say we all did well in our own respected crafts. From, our buddy Cam, who is killing it as a father, like that, like, so much respect for somebody like Cam, or like Jake, who's, really taking the reins and keeping that family business going with the barn cider and that dedication and everything they put into this town. Same with you, man. Like, Patricia, like, your mom, dude, like, I
don't get it.
Like, your mom is, like, got to be, like, the greatest person in the world. Like, my mom is, but, like, she is too. Like,
how she does
it's
it.
just like, she didn't have to help us. We were just some fucking knuckleheads, but she kept us together, especially in times when we were finding ourselves and going to see fish and all this stupid shit for the first time, and, like, definitely weren't focused on the goal. Then she rerouted it, and I think, like, between that and, like, getting away from Lake George was probably the biggest help, and that's where I met you, and like, from there we just stayed in touch, and then because you're a Steelers fan, and you smoke them if you got them, and everything above.
Yeah, our friendship was kind of founded on going to college together, both knowing, like, the same, like, 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
Like, and every time I think about our time at college together, I think of 2 people specific. I think of Gunnar Blanchard, who I don't know what the hell happened to him. I hope he's okay. And then even more so, don't know what the hell happened to him. I hope he's okay. Dude, when's the last time you talked to fucking Redmond?
I don't know, man. I hope you're doing well, though. Seriously, I hope you're doing well.
The last time I saw him, he was drinking Admiral Nelson straight from the bottle and then chasing it with Dr. Pepper while eating, like, one of those, like, the Taco Bell, like, bundle box deals.
I'll go for that bundle box.
Dude, I would
That's
too.
delicious.
I think
But,
I'm going to after this if I have time before work.
Yeah, man. No, I we, the right people stuck together, and, like, you like, in just natural evolution, things weed out, and we realized that we like going against the grain, and that's where, like, fucking, that's where Mirth Films is today. Like, we're not doing this because, and we fucking went on a rant last week about 2 weeks ago. I don't fucking remember, but, like, if you are not in this for the right reasons, and you look at things as more like money than than just being something, being a part of something greater, then you're in it for the wrong reasons, and the door is right there. And I just have much respect for, like I said, people like a Roger Sharp, people, like yourselves, like you, Luke, who just literally will put yourself through a personal fucking hell just to get the job done, because that's what it takes. And I don't know. And why do I do it? I do it because I fucking like having a camera in my hand. Everything else around it kind of just naturally happened, but the camera was my source to finding myself. And what was that in skateboarding? I was a shitty skateboarder. They call me Kickflip Frank. I've probably done like 3 to this day.
Dude, yeah, but your
stationary.
Front 180s are nice,
They got some style
and
to
you
them.
got those
but
manuals for days.
But like, thank God, like I was able to find something else as an outlet, because like, unfortunately for some people in Lake George or in a small town can get lost in the weeds, and we know them. We know those people, and it's heartbreaking, and so you just do it more for just, I don't know, like I said, like if you feel trapped, don't be afraid to just like send it, like you sent it to Colorado after something hard in your life, and or like just, that's what it takes. It just takes like a shift of like that seesaw to just tilt a little bit, and just like, don't breed the fucking fake positivity, but yeah, be a nice guy. Follow the golden rule, and because you don't know who you're gonna meet later in life, and that person could be your fucking next boss or your best friend. And for me, it was shit talking you because I was like, I knew this guy was fucking better than me, and so I don't know why I felt the natural like mentality to just be an asshole to you, and I always feel bad about that. And but then now we're like
It's
fucking
cool.
like here sitting on the stupid couch in fucking backstage at Putnam Place and talking to the fucking one of the best photographers in the area, Luke Dow. And with that, you can watch every episode on the Mirth Films YouTube channel. You can watch the premiere at 7 p.m. every Wednesday. There might be a week where we don't do some, but hey, we're doing some behind the scenes for you guys. And stay tuned on Wild in the Trees announcements. Get your tickets for Rock the Dock Music Festival. And don't forget, you can listen to this on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and hit subscribe while you're on YouTube. But, Brett, what do you got to do?
Plug Classless Bastards before we go. Not only is the Classless Bastards podcast actually for real, no more hiccups in the fucking plan, all set up, and my office is now a shooting location. I have dragged Nick Bull into actually being a part of all this. I have lights, I have a board, I have a camera, I have microphones, I have it all. And I have a limited edition Classless Bastards in Space poster available in limited quantities. And the sales from that are going to be split between my wedding, which is very expensive, and some Mirth Film stuff, which can also be very expensive. And if none of that entices you, you can always just, smoke them if you got them.
Yeah, that's right. Smoke them if you got them, guys. See ya.